last episode of How to Survive.
On today's episode, we'll be talking about how to survive high school.
In this episode, we're going to talk about all things high school, River Oaks, maybe some clubs that'll be beneficial to do while you're in high school, talk about some teachers, and maybe get some time management skills on just how to go through certain teachers. We'll also talk about just different things you can do in high school here at River Oaks that'll maybe help you, maybe some classes that would definitely be beneficial to take, and just everything that you go through here through high school. So one of the clubs you can do in high school at River Oaks is the Interact Club, and that club is it's just a bunch of service projects, and it looks really good on a transcript, and you can put it on a bunch of applications for college and stuff, and it looks really good on that. We go to Race for the Cure, we do road pickup, we do Pumpkins on Parade, we do med camps. There's just a lot of little service projects that we do, and we do all the little candygrams and stuff like that. And it's a good way to get involved with people in high school and just kind of have little meetings every Thursday, and we get free food sometimes. It's really fun to do, and it's a good club to do for transcripts and everything. It's really fun.
Another club is the Student Council, which is basically the big leadership body of the school. And we basically are in charge of school activities like Winter Cup and Bonding Day, and a lot of big activities that get the school all together. And during pep rallies, there's this thing called the Student Council game that we are in charge of, and we organize what the game is, and we choose the people who are going to be a part of the game, and that's always really fun.
You can also join FCS, which stands for the Fellowship of Christian Students, and it's just an organization, a club, where we meet at lunch and talk about God and share from the Bible, and then we just spend some time in prayer, praying for each other and for the world around us and people that we know. And it's just a really good organization because it is fellowship, and you just can share about your faith, and it's a really nice club.
Another club that we have is the National Honor Society. It's not really like a club that you sign up to be in, but once you get into high school, you should really shoot for that 3.5 or higher GPA so you can be in the National Honor Society, because it looks really good on transcripts, and I think it would make colleges maybe look at you before anybody else, maybe because you would have that higher GPA. I mean, we don't really do much, but it is a cool thing to say that you're in. You get a little pin, and you go up there and you get your little candle and everything. It's pretty cool.
And you can pass the candle to people.
Yeah.
Candle. One of the really big growing clubs at River Oaks is the Future Business Leaders of America, or FBLA. Me and Ashley are in it, and Katie joined last year.
We all wear these nice business clothes, and we go and compete in different tests that deal with business, and we have been doing really, really well. And it's just a lot of us that go out, and you get out of school for it, and it's just you get to see so many people and make a lot of new friendships just by being there with everybody, and I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and you can really get involved in the business world and find out what you could possibly like if you go into business. And maybe if you go into something and it turns out you hate it, then you'll know that you don't want to do that. But it's really fun.
Or just to see if you even like business.
Yeah. It's very eye-opening because business is broad.
Very.
So Future Business Leaders of America, you join and you are exposed to all these different topics, and you can go and try stuff out. The first couple years, I did stuff like entrepreneurship because I wanted to start my own business, and I did insurance risk management because that was what my mom does. And those are both interesting, and I had fun doing that. But then the next year I did economics, and I went through and I went outside the classroom, went on stuff like Khan Academy, learned a lot about economics, and realized, wow, this is really what I want to do. And then now, it's something that I want to be the rest of my life, because I went out there and did stuff, and I went outside the classroom and above and beyond to learn what I'm going to do.
So now we're going to just talk about maybe some classes that would be very beneficial to take. Freshman year, You have Ms. Gates for English. You don't have to take honors classes because in high school you start to have the option of having honors, which for English, it's you read an extra book and you get extra 4 points at the end of each 9 weeks. That's for every class for honors. I would take every honors science.
I
For
would
sure.
take every honors English for sure.
I never took honors English.
If you're good
I
at
didn't
reading,
either.
take honors English. If you're good at science, take honors science.
Yeah, if you like science and it makes sense to you, I would take honors science. Once you hit like junior and senior year, I would take a bunch of dual enrollment classes, but not too many.
In dual enrollment, typically you're enrolled in both River Oaks and the College of ULM, and you take one class and it goes through both of those schools, but it counts as a college credit if you take it here. So you don't have to go to ULM and sign up for a class there. You can take it here and it still goes directly to that school. And dual enrollment helps a lot with college hours, and if you take a lot of dual enrollment classes, it basically takes away hours that you would take in college when
Right.
you get there.
And if you're taking dual enrollment, you really need to be good at time management because since it's on the computer, you don't have a teacher sitting there going, do homework tonight, turn it in tomorrow. Like you have like a week or two that you have to do all this stuff, and if you get completely behind, then it's absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So be responsible for yourself. You're an adult. Not really.
You're about to be.
You're actually a kid, but like you need to start doing adult things. Now we're gonna talk to the senior class to see what they have to say about high school.
These are my 4 tips to surviving high school. My first tip is no procrastination. So when you get your assignments, start on them, get a head start, and then by the time it's due, it'll be all done. You can be done with it early. Like if you get assigned a paper and you have a week to do it, start that night. I have had this problem multiple times. I mean, like, I do this all the time, but then sometimes I won't procrastinate, and I'll be like, hey, this feels good, I can finally relax. But yeah, get a head start on your homework, get a head start on your papers, projects, everything. My second tip is always having positive vibes. Surround yourself with positive people. Don't hang out with people who are always roasting you, unless they're your friends, and you know, they're just messing around. But like, not necessarily like just roasting you, but like people who put you down, people who make fun of you, like the way you look, the way you do your hair, makeup, the way you dress. No. Basically just surround yourself with people who are going to comfort you, who are always there for you, who don't care how crazy you act. My third tip is always be yourself. Just don't try to hide who you are just to try to blend in. I did that my 8th grade year, my 9th grade year, and then I finally started to find myself my sophomore year because I just stopped caring what people thought of me. My 4th tip is sleep and eat. Whenever you're on your way to like a game or something, like an away game for example, try doing your homework on the way there and like try finishing it too. Because whenever you get back from that game, you're not going to want to stay up till 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning doing this homework because you're going to be too tired the next day. And also, eat. Do not forget to eat anything because it'll give you energy for like throughout the day. And yeah, so my 4 wonderful tips.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing that you need to do in high school to really have the best experience is to go out there and do a lot of stuff. That sounds very general, but you need to expose yourself to as many things as you can so that you can know where you're going later in your life. You need to involve yourself in clubs and sports and stuff because it gets you a lot of these skills that you really don't think about when you're going through high school. So, for example, being in sports has taught me a lot of social skills and a lot of leadership and teamwork abilities, as well as, you know, being in the classroom and learning a lot of stuff academically. Really, the high school experience is a lot about molding those experiences and exposing yourself, because when you get out of high school and you go on to college and go on to the rest of your life, you need to have an idea of, you need to know kind of what you want to do and be exposed to different things. Essentially, that exposing yourself, that can be through a lot of different things. If you're in a class and you hear about something that you think that's kind of cool, go look up on it, go read about it. It's been very helpful for me to read so many different books about different topics, because it's made me think, oh, I really like this thing, or oh, I don't think it's gonna work out for me to do that. So really just having those different exposures is what's gonna make sure that you get into what you love.
Get more sleep.
While in middle school, you're probably going to be able to get away with cramming like the night before, the morning of for tests. In middle school, I really wish I had prepared and learned how I need to study in order to succeed in high school, because in high school, there's too much information to study the night before. You need to study every week or whatever works for you.
I think in middle school, the toughest thing for me was definitely trying to fit in with different crowds and trying to place myself in a place that wasn't me. To survive high school, which is really difficult at most times, that you should always be prepared for anything. Always be kind, selfless. Do your homework, please. It's extra grades, always, that helps. Don't let other people affect your feelings, because I was affected a lot in high school, so.
Something that I wish I knew when I was in middle school was that I didn't figure out till I was a junior was definitely like, don't just mess around like your freshman year or sophomore year. You definitely want to like get it together and have your grades, because when it comes time and you're a senior and you're like, oh man, I gotta get my grades up or I'm not gonna get in this college and I won't be able to do what I want to do for the rest of my life. Also, like, really enjoy it. Like, I know that's like oversaid a lot and like you really don't understand it, but like being in your senior year, like it's like, oh, it's coming to an end, and like all these people I've been with my whole life, like it just, like you just figure out that one day it's just gonna stop. So just really enjoy it while you have it.
One thing that I wish I knew whenever I was in middle school is that you're not going to be BFFs with everybody in your grade like you think you are. Like, I was best friends with people in middle school that, like, I don't even talk to now. And, like, I'm best friends now with people that I never would have imagined that I would even talk to. Like, my friend group now is not at all what I was like in middle school. And just be ready to, like, lose friends and gain friends, because you're not going to always, like, be around the same people, but just be ready to, because things are going to change. Like, you're going to think that it's always going to stay the same, and then you get into senior year and you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? I would say some things that probably helped me survive high school is never being afraid to like be yourself, because so many people like at our age are figuring out who you are, and so many people are so different, and being in such a small school, you're very like tight together, so it's kind of like thrown in your face how different everybody is. So if you start doing one thing completely different from everybody else, it's kind of like, wow, I really am that different. I think just being yourself and like staying on top of everything, like all your work, and just being true to who you are, and knowing that like if you want good grades and you want to be a little nerd, then be a little nerd. If you don't want to care, then don't care. I mean, I wouldn't advise it, but you know, do all your work, stay true to who you are, don't let anybody affect like your standards, your morals, stuff like that, because you know, this is such a vulnerable time in your life because so many things are changing. Stick to what you know and don't let anybody tell you any different.
Don't take high school for granted. It's like a job that's going to be paying for your college. So you don't want to mess up, because if you mess up, you ain't going to a good college. Or if you're going to go to a college that's pretty good, you're going to have problems paying for it unless you're financially stable already.
Just kind of like listen to the seniors, and what else? Just kind of like follow in what the seniors do, and you know, the ones that actually try, and the ones that actually want to help you, you know, listen to them, and you know, they'll get you where you need to be grade wise, and you know, just don't just stay out of trouble. I think this school is a good school with, you know, getting you ready for college and everything. So, yeah.
That was good.
Do your homework. Homework is the one thing I really didn't do. Google helped me a lot. And Slater.
I would say just to live your life, do you, and at least try to do some homework.
Care just a little bit, because now I didn't care, and now I'm having to apply for college, and I wish I would have just cared a little bit more.
Oh, care just enough.
Don't do drugs.
I just want to say that procrastination is not your friend.
The main thing that I learned from high school is just to be yourself. High school is all about finding out who you are as a person. Don't try to be someone that you're not, because I tried to do that for a very long time and I was unhappy with myself. I was trying to fit the standards of other people. I learned that no one really cares. No one cares as much as you think they do. So just be yourself, be happy with who you are, and then you'll just have a happy high school life. Surround yourself with people that make you happy. But yeah, high school is just figuring out who you are as a person and just be happy with who you are and love yourself.
There's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that you really need to know.
Okay.
Step 1, try not to procrastinate. This is something that everyone does. It's horrible because we're literally stabbing ourselves in the foot and then complaining that we can't walk. Try not to do that. I guess number 2, don't get caught up in all of the pre-high school and freshman and sophomore and junior and senior and just high school drama itself, because there's so much drama and pointless petty things that happen with different people in the high school environment that's very different from college. Don't think that college is like high school, because it isn't. I know it isn't. There's no way it is, because if it was, there's no way those kids would survive, because I don't know how I'm still here in high school. So don't get caught up in the drama and the petty things that come with high school, and focus on what you need to do to get to college or get to wherever you want to be. The number 3 thing is find yourself. Try as hard as you can to find yourself before you go to college, because if you waste your time in high school and you just screw around and you don't do anything of any importance other than go and have fun, and then you expect to go and try to find yourself in college, but you continue to have fun in college, but yet you speak about how when you're in high school you want to be successful. That's not how it works. You need to try to put in the work as early as possible, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you don't know if it's going to be good or bad. If you keep on saying, oh, well, I'm going to go and do all this work next week, or I'm going to do it next month, or I'm going to do it when I'm in college, and right now I'm just going to go and party and have fun and not really worry about it and live life, right? Well, then you're just going to keep on doing that until one day you're going to wake up and realize that you're lost and you have nowhere to go, so you kind of just have to make do with what you can get now. Whereas if you would have done it earlier, when you had the time and the ability to, when you were being taken care of by your parents and you didn't have to get a job and you had all this free time and instead you spent it watching Netflix shows, you might be farther in life. What we do now and what we do in the next 4 years truly does determine whether or not we're going to be very far in life or we're just going to be mediocre and average. So don't settle for average, settle for something more than average, and you can only get there by doing things that are above average and not doing what everyone else does. Thank you. I have one more thing to say. Hi, how you doing? I got one more thing to say. Second to the last thing, the thing that follows the last thing is, what is this, like number 4? Number 4? Dude, I swear it's number 4. This is gonna be number 4. If I skip the number, I don't care. It's number 4. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and then admit that they were mistakes and then learn from them. It's not a bad thing to go out and experience things, and you guys know what I mean. It's not a bad thing to do that. Don't be afraid to do that. But also be smart enough to admit, okay, this may have been a mistake, and what can I learn from it? Because that's how you grow. And if you're not growing, just like every cell in the body, if it's not growing, it's dying. And if you're not growing, either mentally, physically, both, you're dying. And that's that. Science.